and your character's performance relies heavily on the other character that you are talking to. How do you manage how to base that vocal performance off of this other character that's not familiar?
Yeah, welcome to voice acting. It's one of the most difficult things that people fail to realize about voice acting is your complete and utter lack of context. In on-camera acting, you're always with another person, right? And you're playing off of them, you can hear what they say when they say it, and you can let that impulse, is what I call it, that impulse rises. In voice acting, you almost never have the opportunity. Many times you'll go in there and the other person that you're talking to won't even have recorded yet. In some instances, the people on the other side of the glass may not know details about the project. One of my most interesting experiences in this was I was in a game called War of Crowns, which nobody in this room has ever heard of. And I walked into the booth and they were like, we've got a couple of characters for you to play. The first one is, and I can't remember the name of the creature, let's call it a mambala. I don't know, whatever it was, right? This is just some made up word. And I was like, cool, great, what's a mambala? We don't know. I was like, it is your game. Okay, do you have any art of them? Can I see what they look like? Because if this is a tiny creature, I'll give it a tiny voice. If it's a big creature, they're like, we don't know. And I was like, so you just want me to pick? They're like, yeah, just do whatever. So sometimes you really have no idea. And so some of the skills I work on with some of my higher level students all the time is you have to make the specific choice. You have to figure it out and stick to it. It might not be the right choice, and then hopefully a director will direct you and say okay, no, the person you're talking to is actually, a former student of yours that you saw, let their arrogance overcame their ability to learn. And then you have context. Then you have okay, now I know why I'm saying what I'm saying. But sometimes you just don't. Sometimes it's just read the words, monkey, right? That's really all it is. Yeah.
So with scripts, for practicing, do you just kind of go just find whatever, or is there?
I love it when people think I practice.
Or specifically talk about because you say just go do it.
Just go do it.
Usually it's if you need to warm up with a practice script or something, it's okay, where do I find that? Because I didn't see anything in links or anything. It's
there should be a script archive for Edge Studio. Edge Studio has a good script archive for just about anything. Voices.com has a free script archive you can browse. In general, if you have access to auditions in online marketplaces, that should be your practice. Just get experience with something that somebody wants with their direction or lack thereof, and just start throwing spaghetti at the wall.
I work doing anything, whether it's actually working or drawing or whatever it is, if I can have something I can look at. So it's okay, I understand, I can see what it looks like, and then it usually helps me figure out what.
Yeah, I mean, you can always, on even sites with memberships sometimes allow you to browse their scripts, or browse the job offerings, but not submit. So you can just go and look through them and practice like that. Yeah. What else, guys? You guys have asked all the questions right there.
What's your thoughts on Calgary so far?
I'm sorry, what's my thoughts on Calgary? Yeah. In the 12 hours I've been here, I have had an incredible steak. And tonight I think I'm also going to have an incredible steak.
Good choice.
But otherwise, I haven't seen much of it yet. After this, I'll be taking a trip up to Jasper for a couple days to kind of go hike around and then just, yeah.
What are some Canadian snacks you want to try?
I've been to Canada quite a few times, so I checked the box of ketchup flavored potato chips and poutine and maple flavored everything. But I can't think of anything that's I've always wanted to try blank, because I'm not sure what else, what's a local. The Odafest guys gave me a bag of local stuff, so I'm gonna make my way through that. But what's to try? What's your recommendation?
Pineapple Crush.
Pineapple Crush I've never heard of.
It's on the East Coast. We drink it in Newfoundland a lot.
Okay, cool. What else? Okay, so I've been to Tim Hortons. Next question.
What would you say the hardest part of voicing Three Houses was, and how time-consuming was the project?
Three Houses was probably about 50 hours in the booth, spread out over many months. And the hardest part of it was the difference in Claude Academy and Claude War Phase that's what we called it in the booth. Like, what do we call it in like time skip? Like, okay, wow, I really had a brain fart there. We called it academy phase and more phase when we were talking about. His difference in personality is extremely, like that gap is really thin. A lot of stuff has happened in those 5 years, and you have to, like, I had to figure out a way to make that weight sit on Claude's shoulders, but still maintain his like, whatever, kind of like attitude, because that's the way he went. So walking that fine line was probably the most difficult part of that role. Yeah, I added an but that was the end of the question. Yeah, that got the end of the answer. Yeah.
Kind of follow up to that, you say you spend many months in some roles. Is vocal strain still a threat for you after this many years of voice acting? And do you have any remedies to treat your voice and preserve it?
Vocal strain. Is vocal strain a problem for me? How do I solve for it? The number one way to solve vocal stress is to prevent it. You advocate yourself in the booth, and the cardinal rule of character acting is never choose a voice you cannot sustain for 4 hours, right? So you never want to walk into the booth and make a choice that you can't sustain. That comes with time, right? Like, you don't know what you can sustain until you mess it up. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure was a huge mess up for me because I was like, okay, and it was loud for 30 hours and it was miserable. But for the most part, I don't worry about my vocal health so much because I tend not to audition for, I kind of like broke up with anime in 2020-ish. I stopped going out for auditions because it was technically difficult, low-paying, high-stress work that was kind of eating my calendar a little bit. And so like that helps. Not doing anime helps your vocal health. I'll make sure that if I have like battle chatter for video games, I try not to schedule sessions in the morning when I'm not warmed up yet. And if I know it's going to be a throat ripper and like there's just no way around it, right? Like if you're working on Call of Duty, you know you're going to stretch yourself. Like it's tough. And so you just try to schedule it on Fridays, right? So you have the weekend to recover. That's all. And then never forcing yourself beyond the point where you like, when you're approaching like, oh boy, that my voice is breaking, I've got to stop. And then advocating yourself, telling a director, I cannot go any further. Vocal health is the only time I've ever walked out of a booth. Like I've ever been even this close to a diva where I was like, I'm not doing that again, right? Like, so, which is hard. Like that's a level of confidence that comes with years, and young actors don't always have it. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like when you sign on for like a big role that has like a recurring character that might appear in like media that they like say Claude, right? They come up with a new alt for him every like 5 months or something.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that they like tell you up front? It's like, oh, you're committed.
I know I'll never be the same. Shook my world so hard again. Wish I washed away my sins. He's a dead man walking, blank stare in his eyes. Should have given up on the ones I trust. Never should have been surprised when they shot him down. Cold blood to the ground.